Okay. And we are live. We are live on Facebook, and today we have a very special guest all the way from St. Louis. Her name is Lissa Figgins, and she is the founder of Firmly Planted Wellness. And she helps busy women prioritize their wellness with a very simple three-step plan so that they can look, feel, and give their best. Lisa, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here in our Women Entrepreneur series and People Helping People.
Well,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much for inviting me. It's so exciting. I love that we can connect like this, regardless of what's going on in the world right now. We can still do things like this, and this was not possible just even a few years ago. So thankful for that. And I love getting to talk with other entrepreneurs, other women leaders, because what I find is we oftentimes put ourselves in the back burner, right? So we're busy doing all the things. We're leading our businesses, we're leading our teams, we're leading our families, we're leading our community. We're doing all these things. And then we kind of get that frustrated, overwhelmed, exhausted feeling when it comes to taking care of ourselves, because we think, oh gosh, I have no time left. I don't have any money. I don't have any energy left at the end of the day, and it just becomes one more thing. I'll do it tomorrow. And so my mission is to help women who are leaders in whatever role they're leading to prioritize their wellness, because I believe that when we're better taking care of ourselves, then we can better, lead and live out those roles that we've been given to do.
And start today, right
Mhm.
now,
And it
right?
doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be you go to the gym and you do like a 3 hour workout. It can be a 5 minute thing that you do at home. It's just, what can I do today that's going to add help and help me take care of me? And then do the next thing, and then do the next thing. I call them body loving choices. Just what's something I can do in the next hour, in the next 5 minutes, that would be a body loving choice. And it's going to feel good. And then you're going to find, oh, that I should take time to do that more often, or that really didn't take as much as I thought it was going to be, or it made me more productive when I got back from, taking a quick walk outside or playing with the kids, that type of thing, right?
Yes. And sometimes we get like so overwhelmed. Oh no, I don't have time. I can't do
Mm-hmm.
this. I can't do that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so why does prioritizing wellness really matter?
Yeah, well, it matters because this body we have is the only one that God's given us, and so we have to take care of it, right? If we want it to keep functioning, if we want it to function well and to allow us to do the things we want to do, we have to take care of it. And I like to think about, I know a lot of us are not traveling right now. Some people are getting on airplanes, but when you're on an airplane, before you take off, they have instructions for what you should do if the cabin pressure goes down. And one of the things that I just have this visual in my head, they tell you if the cabin pressure goes down, those oxygen masks are going to drop down from the compartment above. And what do they tell you to do? They tell you to put yours on first, and then you can help the person next to you. And why is that? Because an unoxygenated person is not good to anyone around them. It doesn't matter how close. I mean, in a plane, they're right next to you, right? And I think the same is true when it comes to our wellness and our health and our well-being. If we're not taking care of this, if we're not healthy, that then becomes a distraction. It becomes something that is going to take away time. It's going to take away money. It's going to take away energy and focus. And it's actually going to, keep us from doing those things, that we're doing. So oftentimes we put it backwards, right? We say, I'll do this if I have time left over. Whereas I think this needs to be what I
The
like to
first
call
thing,
it.
the first thing, you have
Exactly.
to take care of yourself first to be able to
And
help others.
yes, or at least set that intention. It doesn't have to be you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But at least you've planned out, okay, at this time, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to keep this appointment to myself. I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and she said, why is it that we will not miss a doctor appointment? We won't miss, a coffee with a friend or something that we scheduled with someone else, but we will miss that, oh yeah, I was going to work out at this time, but I don't have time. Or, oh yeah, I was going to sit down and actually eat lunch instead of being on the go, but like we skip, we don't show up for
And it's
ourselves.
important, yeah.
Yeah,
And so what is it that gets in the way of doing what we know that we should do?
that's a good question. That's a good question. I think there can be a whole bunch of things, and it really comes down to this, right? It's this voice that we have inside of our heads that's saying, sometimes it's that voice saying, this is selfish. because I think, especially as women, we want to serve others. And so we're always wanting to give and, to make it about somebody else. And so we feel like, well, if I'm taking time for myself, that's selfish. But I think too, we also make, we have excuses because we all know what to do, right? I mean, I'm sure nobody listening to this is thinking, I have no idea what things I should do to be healthier. We all know we should be drinking more water, we should be eating, healthier foods, and watching what products we put on our body, like those types of things. But we let there be this gap between what we know and what we do. And so it may be, for example, it may be time, like, just saying I don't have time. But the interesting thing is, if somebody were to say, hey, give me an hour and I'll give you $1 million, I bet we'd find an hour, right? Like
Find
when
we
there's
find
a
that
right, when
we
there's
find the
value
time.
attached to it, you figure it out, right? Like you make it happen. I like to say, like, like for people who are parents, before you had kids, you weren't sitting around saying, oh, I'm looking for something to take up all of my spare time. But once you have that baby, you find the time because that baby is important. So time can be one of those things that gets in the way. I think money is another one that we say, oh, I just don't have the money for that. And yet people will go through Starbucks, nothing against Starbucks, every single day and get their $5 or $6 drink, and
It
you
adds
add that
up.
up.
It
It
adds up.
does. It does. We find money for the things that are important. Again, it's one of those things that if it matters, we'll find a way, or we can find a way to make more, right? Like that's what I love doing too, is teaching women, like, you have multiple streams of income. Like, don't just depend on one thing. And if you find yourself saying over and over again, I don't have the money to, whether it's your health or to do, take my family on this trip or to pay off debt or whatever, then add
Find
some
a
extra
way.
income streams.
Yeah.
Find a way, right? Like there's nobody stopping you. And I think another one that gets in the way is I don't feel motivated. But let's be honest, what Olympic athlete probably gets up every single morning and feels like, I can't wait to do this today. I'm totally motivated. I'm sure there are days that they don't, but they just do it unmotivated because their goal is bigger. They know where they're going. And you don't always have to feel the emotion to do the thing, right? Just sometimes you just have to do it.
You just have to know that it's good for you, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's going to improve your overall well-being. Now, what are some of the, well, you've been saying some of them, but some of the practical steps to take towards living and aging well?
Yeah, yeah. I like this whole idea of aging well. That's something I've been talking about a lot lately because we're all aging, right? And so there was this commercial back in the 80s that said, I'm going to fight aging, right? I'm not going to grow old. I'm going to fight this. And so I feel like sometimes we look at, us getting on in years, whether you're in your 20s and heading into your 30s, or you're in your 40s heading into your 50s, and it's something that we either fight or we fear. And I really think that aging can be something we embrace, and that we really, and it really comes down to how we're taking care of ourselves, what we're putting in our mind, what we're putting on our skin, or we're putting in our body. So I have got 5 tips that I share with people about, kind of how to do that. One is set that intention, like decide that this is important, that I'm going to make this a priority. A lot of times it can be, do some journaling, do some affirmations, what's that goal? What's going to make today better than yesterday, right? Just in setting that intention and deciding that this is important. I think another one that's really important right now is managing stress. Stress is all around us. It's inevitable regardless of what's going on in our life, but especially right now with, things changing. I just found out more changes around here this morning that are happening, and, it's very easy to just let that take over. And I've actually been sharing this week about how stress causes wrinkles, because all these things that stress does actually changes our body, our cell structure, causes inflammation, like, so, so when we're talking about just wanting to look and feel our best, it's important that we're managing stress, we're getting enough sleep. Another one is watching what we put on the outside of our body, not exposing our skin to a whole bunch of toxins and chemicals. And I know you and I are both passionate about, like, let's use healthy products. Let's look at what's in our cabinets and in our drawers and the things we're using every day, and make sure that we're adding health and we're not putting things on our body that we don't even know what's in them, because our skin absorbs it all in 26 seconds. So when I learned that, I was like, wow, I need to start reading labels and really know.
I know, and the majority of the people don't.
Right, because
Still,
we're
I
we're
mean,
just
I think it's
uneducated.
changing. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
changing. It's changing, especially after I think this pandemic. Everybody has become a little bit more aware of their health, and and I think it has helped,
Yes, yes.
but
And I'm a big proponent of prevention, right? Like that's a big thing of this, of what's going on right now is, if we can stay healthy and have a healthy environment in our body, we're not going to be as susceptible to these other external things that are happening around us. Doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but it certainly is going to increase our chances. And that comes from what goes on the outside, also comes from what we eat. Like if we're eating a bunch of junk and we're letting our immunity, fall and causing inflammation, our body's gonna show the signs of that. So I'm a huge proponent of whole foods, the Fab Four. I love Kelly LeVeque. She has a teaching called Body Love, and just how you eat and keep it simple. Because for me, I was reinventing the wheel. I spent way too much time trying to figure it out, and could never sustain that for sure. And I think the last one is having accountability. Having somebody, whether it's a friend, whether it's usually can't be your spouse. I'm just gonna say, like it's sometimes hard to have them, be the one to hold you accountable, but a friend who's also, wanting to be intentional, but even more so like a coach or somebody who, really can kind of have that. I'm not emotionally tied to your excuses. So when you tell me I don't feel like it, or, you tell me you're tired, or you tell me you don't have time, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to take that.
yeah,
Right.
that's a very good one. Yes. And so, what do you have to offer to our audience? What can you offer?
Yeah, well, I love being able to connect with women and help them to actually not just, so right now you've got some great ideas maybe that are going on from what we've talked about or what you already know. And the goal though is to shorten that gap between knowing and doing, right? So a couple of things that I'd love to offer. One, I put together a Live Well, Age Well guide with 3 secrets to living and aging well. And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in because aging starts the minute we're born. So it's about, taking care of ourselves well through all those ages and stages. So you can head to my website, which is lissafiggins.com, and you can go ahead and
Down here.
request that there. Yeah, we'll put that down in there. And actually, the Age Well one is at lissafiggins.com/agewell. Is that will be the direct link to the Age Well guide. And then also, I am offering a complimentary Prioritize You call to the first 5 people that download that as just a way to talk about like how can we make this practical. And I love working with women and figuring out where you are, where you want to be, and how can we create that simple plan to get you from here to there. So if you go to my website, you can also book a call there, and would love to connect and talk more.
Nice. So you heard her, okay? The first 5 who click on that link, it's gonna be under this interview, this video, and the first 5 people will get a free consultation. What is it? 1 hour? one
Yes. Mm-hmm.
hour Zoom
Yes.
consultation. Yes, wherever you are in the world, right? You can.
Right. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I know. I love it. And so one more question I have. Oh, yes. So basically, people can get in contact with you through the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this
And
is
I'm on
they can
social
get.
media as Lissa Figgins, on also on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. So you can find
Ah,
me
you
in
have
any of those
Instagram
places.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. And what is your main platform though? Because everybody has a favorite.
Right, I would say between LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are kind of
Ah,
the 2 main places that I hang out.
okay, yeah, so perfect. And well, Lisa, anything that you want to add? Let me see. We were a little bit fast today, but let me see if there's anybody right now, because sometimes we have some questions, and if not, they will come later. Yes. And yeah, anything that you want to add? It's been amazing. I want to see. I want to get into the website and find out more about what you have to offer. But everything
Yeah.
you say is so helpful.
Thank
For
you.
for
And I think
for
the key, if I could just say, like this is the one, I mean, you can take away whatever you want from this, is just what's the next thing you can do? What's one thing? Because I think that's what we get inside our own heads, especially if we're driven entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders. We want to, we want this grandiose big plan, we want to like make a splash in the world. Like that's just kind of how we roll. And so sometimes then if it's too big, then we're just not going to start when it comes to our health. So just what's that one simple thing that I can do? Maybe it's going for a walk today. Maybe it's, drinking more water. Maybe it's, just sitting down to eat your meals. Maybe it's spending time with someone that you love. Maybe it's getting outside and enjoying some beautiful weather. Just what's one thing you can do that's really going to help add health, and then do it again and do it again and do it again.
Wow. Well, that's one step at a time. One
Right.
step at a time, and start small, build muscle, like with everything else. like with everything else. If you
Yes,
know, if you're training for a big marathon, you cannot start running, 3 hours the first day. That you're gonna get hurt. So you
exactly.
start slowly, slowly, and that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for being here. I hope that people will find all your information and tips and valuable. They will. And thank you again for participating. And I want to see you soon because I want
All
to know
right.
how you progress and how your endeavor will continue. Okay.
Well, I think when your goal is to serve other people, you can't help but be successful. So to all
Uh,
of you out there who are doing this, are doing what you're doing to serve, whether it's your family, your clients, your community, keep doing it. And that's why it matters that you prioritize your wellness so you can better do that. So thanks for the
exactly.
opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you, everyone. You heard her. Click on the link below, and so you can talk to her and have a wonderful consultation. Thank you again, Lisa, and we'll see you soon. Thank
All
you,
right. Bye
everyone.
bye.
Mwah. Bye. Ciao. Wait. And now